One of the highlights of Matthew chapter 11 is when Jesus issues an amazing invitation to find rest in Him. Here's some background. In this chapter, we see the Messiah's herald, John the Baptist. We also see the Messiah's generation, hard-hearted, as well as the Messiah's father, who Jesus knows and who Jesus reveals to those of His choosing. And that brings us to Jesus' invitation to find rest, here in verses 28 to 30. "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Jesus invites all who labor and are heavy laden to find rest in a relationship with Him. To all who are burdened by their own spiritual bankruptcy, all who have been working so hard to save themselves, all who are weighed down by do this and don't do that and do better, try harder, Jesus offers wonderful rest. We need not strive anymore. We can rest in the fact that Christ has performed perfectly and that we who believe in Him have entered a state of right standing that began when we came to faith in Christ. We are free to serve the Lord, not to earn salvation, but as a result of our salvation. We who respond to Christ's offer of rest are to take His yoke upon ourselves. A yoke is an instrument of domestication for an ox. It's used for training the animal and directing the animal. That's why Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me." The yoke is instrumental in the training of an ox. Regarding my yoke, either Jesus is the farmer who places His yoke upon us, or Jesus is the more mature ox with whom we are yoked. Either way, it's Christ's yoke, and we're learning from Him. Jesus is not a harsh taskmaster. Rather, He's gentle and lowly. He's humble, unlike the Pharisees, who are harsh and prideful. The Pharisees place on people a difficult yoke, the heavy burden of the law, whereas Christ places on us an easy yoke, the light burden of grace. Grace is unmerited favor, unearned, and it's poured out freely upon all who come to Christ for forgiveness. We're given a new life in Him, a life of peace, peace with God, peace with brothers and sisters in Christ, and peace within. Let's be those who experience rest in Christ, who come to Him again and again, and who take His yoke upon us, and who learn from Him, who say no to earning God's favor and yes to receiving God's favor through the finished work of Christ. Thanks for listening.